Hi everybody, this is Alice, Bejeweled Hedgehog, and this is a vlog. I am, let's see, it's Tuesday, so I'm not going to be doing a cast-off crew video tonight because I really haven't done a lot of crocheting. Maybe I'll put one up if I finish something this week, but basically all I've been doing are these little light summer scarves, like you see me wearing one now. Just fun, cute, easy to wear, easy to do. So I can do them when I'm doing something else. I'm within limits, obviously. I can do them when I'm watching YouTube or a movie, or when I'm talking with my nieces or whatever. They don't require any concentration. So anyway, no cast-off crew, at least for tonight, because I'm tired and I didn't do a whole lot. I am going to show in another video. I'm going to go ahead and show you 2 pages of my challenge journal, just because I don't want to put that off for so long. You know, I suddenly inundate you like the 7 nights of, Alice's journal or something. Anyhow, I'm tired, as usual, and sort of incoherent and discombobulated, but then again, I think I say that in all my vlogs because I think that seems to be my sort of perpetual state of being. It's kind of fun doing a vlog. I actually miss them. I sort of felt like, I didn't really do anything all that exciting. And so, why do a vlog to just kind of say, I had another day just like the previous one. But I miss talking to people and interacting with you when you comment back. So I'm kind of going to do it anyway. Last night I didn't do much. Well, let's see, what did I do? I went over to my sister's again in the evening, and I was there this evening too. Okay, I did a special craft project with Ducky, and there's kind of a backstory to this craft project. I don't know whose video or what video I was watching, but along, on the right-hand side, when sort of related videos pop up, something showed up about, marbling paper. And I just clicked on it, to see what I could see, and it looked really cool. It was sponsored by Dick Blick. Art Supplies, and they're a website, and they have art supplies. I've heard Andy of Andy Believes mention it. I mean, apparently they're good supplies and they are good prices, but they're also more like fine art supplies, I think, as opposed to craft supplies. At any rate, what the woman was demonstrating was you take a shallow bowl or dish and fill it partway with water, and you take this special ink. It's based on a Japanese technique, and I can't think of the name of it. And you use an eyedropper, and you drop it in 1 drop at a time. And you drop each drop on top of the previous drop, and it pushes it out a little bit further and a little bit further, and it makes these fascinating concentric rings. And apparently Japanese masters, can drop this ink in for hours and make these just breathtaking, prints. And obviously she didn't do this in this little video demonstration. She didn't do it for anywhere near that long. But I thought it was really cool, and she also showed how you could swirl the water around and make it change patterns. And then she dropped a piece of paper down on it, very absorbent paper, and then picked it up, and of course it had the pattern. And I thought, oh, that's gorgeous, I want to do it. Well, the drawback is the inks, even on Amazon, where it tends to be a little cheaper, and I have the free delivery through Prime, they were, I believe, $14 and some change. And I mean, I realize that's not like going to break the bank, but the thing is, for something I've never done before, I don't really know if I'll like it. I'm not entirely sure what I would do with the finished product other than put them in art journals and use them for cards. I just thought, I don't really want to spend this much. So I went back on YouTube and looked around at, marbling paper, and I saw a woman demonstrating doing it with chalk. Now the chalk that she was using was, it came in a little palette, and basically what she did was she took her little chalk piece out of the palette and rubbed it with an emery board and got the chalk powder on the surface of the water. It doesn't sink right away. And you can swirl it if you want, the same as the inks. And she dropped the paper in and pulled it out and had a print. But so that's where I got the idea of Ducky's craft project. Oh, to backtrack a little bit, back to the original thing with the Dick Blick supplies for the lovely Japanese ink. They recommended using paper called copperplate paper. And copperplate paper is $3 a sheet. And I saw on their website that for any sheet of paper less than $5 per sheet, you had to buy a minimum order of 10. So essentially that meant I would have to buy 10 sheets at $3 a piece, $30 for the paper. And I kept thinking, copperplate paper, maybe if I had the very nice inks, but I really don't want to use that. So what I ended up doing was I went over there yesterday with Ducky, and we just scrounged around to see what we could see and see what we could find. And I thought they had sidewalk chalk, that would be a variety of pastel colors, but apparently they've used it all up. They had a little bit of white left. And then my sister had two things. She had some blush in a compact that she had dropped, and it had gotten all cracked, but she hadn't thrown it away because she figured, she'd just carefully scoop it out with a brush and, try not to get the little granules all over the floor. And then she had a really, really inexpensive big tray of multicolors of eyeshadows that she didn't really use very much. So we started off with the chalk, but we only had white, and then we started crumbling eyeshadows in. And they did stay, the white chalk did the very best. Let me show you what the white chalk did. This is very thin black rice paper with white chalk, and we did 3 of these, and I really liked the way it turned out. And I do spray it with fixative after I'm done. Sorry. This is dark plum rice paper and that little bit of white chalk. And then we did mixtures of the eyeshadow and the blush. And this is just construction paper, and it really is not showing up at all with my camera, of course. But it looks pretty cool. It's not great, and it's not nearly as marbled as we wanted it to be, but it's kind of interesting. And since we've decided to do our own art journal together, or really just collect up our art and stick it in a book, we're probably going to do some other things over top of this and then put it in there. And then this was watercolor paper. You can see this a little better, and this was the eyeshadow. And then tonight, I went back over there again, since all these had dried, so that we could go outside and spray them. And what we experimented with tonight is Ducky has 2 kinds of pastels. She has some oil pastels and some chalk pastels. And her chalky, well, not chalk, but what you would call, in the store they would just call them pastels, and I'm assuming they have some kind of chalk-like base. We took those, and we took the emery board, and we very carefully filed those into the water, and then did the paper down on top, and that came out much better. It's not marbling like a liquid would do, but the colors are amazingly vibrant, and they absorbed really, really well. And then we took the white oil pastel on some of the little squares of paper, and we drew pictures, and then would drop it down in to the chalky mixture, and it would be like, water resistant. So that was pretty cool too. So we're much happier with tonight's efforts. It's a lot more fun with her This wasn't a nice set of pastels, a fancy set. These were like the little stubby, broken ends, because she'd kind of used the setup pretty much. But anyway, I'm just talking way too long about this. Yeah, so I've been doing fun craft projects with Ducky. I really, really enjoyed that. I am so sleepy. Well, I guess it is pretty late, actually, so that might explain it. So yeah, what else did I do? Oh, I went out to eat tonight. I have been doing so-so with food. Normally when it gets hot, I'm not hungry. But it also makes me even lazier than normal. And last week I just went to McDonald's. I have this thing about McDonald's, I know. I like it. I went there far more than a person aiming for health should. But tonight I was just hungry, and I wanted to have that. Do you ever get the feeling where you want a really good meal? A meal where you look at it and you just look at it and you just say, yum! And then when you're done, you just lean back and say, ah. Really, really tasty food. So I went to a small local Greek restaurant. I mean, I guess I could have done a lot worse. It was not fast food. What did I get? I drank ice water. For an appetizer, I forget the Greek name for it, but it's boiled potatoes whipped with garlic and olive oil. And then they serve it with pita bread. And I know that's just one gigantic pile of starch. But hey, it's one yummy gigantic pile of starch. And then their special for the day, one of their specials was an entree consisting of a stuffed tomato and a stuffed pepper. And I love stuffed tomatoes and stuffed peppers, but I'm just kind of lazy. It involves cooking the rice and then browning the ground beef with all the appropriate seasonings, and then stuffing the peppers or the tomatoes and then broiling them or whatever. And just, I'm not going to do that. I mean, I might do that like twice a year for some special occasion. And it's just plain old Tuesday, and I'm just hungry. So I let, the people at the restaurant do it for me. Oh, it was lovely. It came with a salad, a really nice salad, with that lovely oil and vinegar and a little bit of lemon juice. And then they mince onions and they add oregano to it, and it makes such a good salad. And of course it has the Greek olives. Yeah, so I ate the stuffed tomato. And Greek green beans are the best. They always have these green beans as, like the side dish for the entrees. I'll have to Google, I guess, what kind of seasonings go in those green beans, because they taste better than any other kind of green beans. And this isn't just this restaurant. This is a lot of Greek restaurants that I've been to. Yep. People often wonder why somebody who dislikes cooking as much as I do manages to be this chubby. Now you know. Anyway, so yeah, but I did not overstuff myself. I felt comfortably full. I felt like I had had enough food after I had the stuffed tomato, so I just, boxed up the stuffed pepper and brought it home with me. So now I have tomorrow night's dinner. And yeah, I don't know what it is. I mean, I kind of wish I did enjoy cooking, because it would make a healthy eating plan so much simpler if I thought cooking was fun. But it's not just because I'm cooking on my own. When I go to my sister's house and it's time for dinner, I will help, because, it's the right thing to do. If you're going to eat their food, you might as well help them cook it. But it's not fun. I do not understand why. I can spend hours, 2 nights in a row, grinding up, eyeshadow palettes and old stumps of pastels into a bowl of water and dunking paper in it, and think that I had one of the best evenings ever. But when it comes to cooking, even if I'm cooking with my sister and my nieces and my brother-in-law who loves to cook, I just, I want to hurry up and get it done so I can go crochet, or so that I can great chalk with an emery board and play with it. So anyhow, I do not know. It's just funny, and it's kind of silly. Um, but yeah, I think that's part of my craving for the fast food and for the restaurants. When I try and be healthy and do eating at home, because I do not enjoy cooking, I don't tend to take the extra time, so I don't have the equivalent of the stuffed pepper. Um, I would brown some beef, make some rice. Maybe I'd stir the two together, you know, and then I just, chop up have some like bell pepper slices on the side, like as a salad, and that would be it. But anyhow, I am just going on and on. Feeling, I don't know. What have I been doing? I have become, when I get an interest in something, it's sort of, I become obsessed with something new. So it's kind of interesting when I get a new hobby or take up a new interest. There'll be a period of time where I want to do nothing but the new thing, and then I incorporate the new thing into my life, in a more balanced place. So I know I'm going to be yammering on and on about my art challenge, but basically I'm yammering on and on about it because I am having so much fun, and it really is like being a little kid. When I was a kid, before it was decided inexplicably that I was not good at art, I was not a natural-born artist, and therefore to spend that much time doing it was now a waste of time, and I just sort of got self-conscious and stopped. I used to spend hours coloring in my coloring books. I had a big shoebox full of crayons. I would take my Crayola, and if I got more than one Crayola set for my birthday, I'd just dump it all in there. And so I had a big shoebox of crayons, and I loved coloring in coloring books, but also, since no one had told me that I didn't draw very well and that I couldn't draw, I drew like crazy. And this was way, way back. I was born in 1961. So my father had an endless supply of this really kind of unusual computer paper. I haven't seen it in ages. Basically, it was, it was not 8.5 by 11, and it was in long, long, long sheets that you'd perforate and tear. And it had the little perforated edges. One side was blank, and the other side was lined. And it was wide, fairly wide. And anytime he had to run a program at work, it would go through and it would come out and it would print, and it printed on the lined side. So we had all these empty backs of the paper, and my father would bring home stacks and stacks of this used computer paper with the front, the drawing side, which is the side we would have used anyway, completely blank. So I would sit there, my sister too, at our little play table, and we would have a stack. There we go. Like this big, and we just tear off paper and just draw away. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So it's like rediscovering that feeling again. I am really enjoying it, and a couple of things that I have learned so far this month. I guess what got it started was really struggling when she announced there would be an art swap that I'm referring to, Poet Spice's art swap. And by the way, Kelly, I have not sent your art. I am so sorry. I am so embarrassed. It is going out in the mail tomorrow. Oh, I can't lose things in my trunk anymore because I have a hatchback. So, anytime I walk around the back of my car, I can just look right in there and see whatever is piled up in it. So, yeah, the mystery of something goes in the trunk and is not thought of again until I need to get something out of it is like, oh, I didn't remember that at all. Anyway, that's not happening anymore. So, yeah, I am mailing out your art for the art swap very late, and I apologize. And I am also working on the journal page for Ginger, my swap partner, Fire and Spice, in the art journal thing. So anyway, I guess I'm just rambling and rambling about this because that got me started, and I was trying to create art, And I look at it, I'm like, okay, this little stick figure does not look like the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. There's something extremely wrong here. It has to be corrected. And then I decided to do the art journal challenge. And I had been playing along. I had been doing stamping and, you know, some things like that. And it's interesting because I started watching, there is a website that I will also put down below called willowing.com, and there's a free art class, an online art class. Then they also have art classes you can pay for. And they also have an element of healing in them. Healing in terms of, you know, yourself and your self-esteem. And the teacher, the moderator, whatever you want to call her, Tam, is very, very good at helping people, well, helping me, see that art is a journey and a process, and it is really not the product. You know, I have not been commissioned to paint anybody's ceiling. I'm just Alice trying to spend my time in an enjoyable way and produce something that I like and I enjoy, and possibly other people will too. And what I finally decided is I like to do it on two different levels. I enjoy creating things with the skill set that I currently have. And I'm really having a lot of fun with my current skill set. There's a lot of things I can do, and some of the results I think are really fabulous. Some of the results are not what I envision when I set out. But that's okay, because I realize that right now without as many skills, I am not able to take what's in my mind and reproduce it on the paper. I lack the experience with how pencils, you know, how the lines work, how the shading works. I get a brush, and this will be the first time I've held a paintbrush in literally decades. I mean, other than the stuff you use to, like, you know, repaint a dresser or something. And, you know, it takes a while to get used to what the different brush strokes look like. And so I have choices anytime I sit down. I can spend some time, and it's very nice to spend time acquiring skills. Just doing brush strokes, using the edge, using the flat part, using a lot of paint, using a little paint. And I'm actually not throwing that away. I'm keeping that. And the same with pencils, and I'm experimenting with a lot of different medium, borrowing things from my sister and my nieces. And I like that too. If I decide, you know, whatever I decide to do, whatever level it plays in my life, as I acquire more skills, I will be able to do more things that I want to do. I will have a little more control over the brush making the proper stroke or going the right place on the paper. So if I say I'm thinking about cows in the field and a peaceful scene, the thoughts that are in my head about the cows in the field will be more accurately reproduced on the paper. At the moment, I think you would have to rely on, you know, like the black and white splotches kind of resembling cow spots, and you could say, that looks kind of cow-like, and considering they're on like a green background, I bet that's a field. Maybe those are cows. Yeah, I really, really enjoy the art classes at Willowing, and the healing part is interesting. Recently, I mean, it's not like my issues have all cleared up and gone away. It's that for a while, I just haven't wanted to talk about, you know, things that are bothering me or things that are dealing with me. I tend to be like this in the summer. I love the daylight. My days are so long. I get up right before the sun comes up. And it seems like I have a day that lasts until 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night. It's just so wonderful. And it's just so bright and so much nicer. And, you know, bad things are lurking sometimes, and I just want to look the other way. But sometimes they sort of accumulate. And I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. But anyhow, yeah, you know, doing the journaling is helping. Okay, everybody, I'm going to be back for vlogs more frequently, and hopefully I will be a little more, I don't know what. Anyway, everybody have a great night, and I will more likely than not see you tomorrow. Okay, bye.